Hello and welcome to Daily Records. I am Tommy Burton and we are talking about guitar heroes and of course one of the greatest guitar heroes, Mr. Jimi Hendrix. Jimi Hendrix, the Jimi Hendrix Experience, Axis, Bold as Love. The second album by the Jimi Hendrix Experience, released on December 1st, 1967. And this album was recorded to fulfill their recording contract. And it said that they had to produce 2 albums in 1967. Now, it was released in the UK on Track Records, and it came after the big debut album, Are You Experienced, which was widely considered one of the great debut albums ever, released in May. Now, it did not come out until 1968 in the United States, so the U.S. audiences had to wait because the first album was still doing really well on the charts, so they held on to this. And so the U.S. audiences had to wait a little while before they could hear it. But can you imagine those albums coming out within a year of each other? After they finished that album in April, they really just kept recording. They went to Olympic Studios there in London, and they just started working on the next material, the new material, like right on the heels of the first one. Chas Chandler was brought in as producer, Eddie Kramer again as an engineer, and also had George Chiance as the second engineer, and they started working on a song that Noel Redding had written about hippies called She's So Fine. And it had background vocals by Jimi and Mitch Mitchell, the drummer. And Hendrix was kind of enthusiastic about it because it was written in this key that he just enjoyed playing. And so there was that, and it kind of kicked everything off in sort of the spirit of the album. Another big song on there, If 6 Was 9, that was another track that was being worked on, and they were kind of putting some different things together to make the album. Hendrix became interested in harpsichord, and it was in the studio, and so he sat down at the instrument and he started writing "The Burning of the Midnight Lamp," which became a big single for the Experience. And so also there was they took a little break after some initial recordings. They played some gigs in Europe. They came back in June and started recording on some new material. Later in June, they came to the United States, hit the Monterey Pop Festival, and the rest is history, as they say. They did some concerts at the Fillmore. They went on the now famous tour with the Monkees in that summer, and so they kind of went back and recorded some different stuff, and so it was almost delayed. Hendrix lost the master tape of side 1. In the backseat of a taxi. This is the kind of stuff you can't make up. And so they had to remix pretty much all of side 1, but they couldn't quite match the quality of If 6 Was 9. And so Noel Redding had a tape recording of this mix, and they smoothed it out with an iron. And it got wrinkled. It's the kind of stuff that you just you think, this is the legendary stuff that you don't even really know about. Now, Hendrix was a consummate perfectionist. A lot of people know that. Eddie Kramer had to be patient with him because Hendrix always was trying to do retakes, never quite satisfied. Chas Chandler really got sick of it. Same with Noel Redding. He kind of started to resent Jimi because Jimi would be very explicit about what he wanted Noel to play. And so Jimi kind of came into his own behind the mixing board. He knew how he wanted his stuff to sound, and so he became quite adept at figuring that out. Now, there was a lot of studio stuff going on here, so a few of these songs never quite made it to the live stage. Spanish Castle Magic, that was a regular live song that a lot of Hendrix fans know. Little Wing, those are all songs that are both songs that they know. But a lot of the other stuff was very sort of studio savvy, and so featured a lot of studio trickery, as it were, and was very hard to duplicate live. This album has gone on to become one of the great Jimi Hendrix albums, Jimi Hendrix Experience, Axis Bold as Love. A lot of Hendrix fans will point to this as one of their favorites, and you know, it is a fantastic record, very much of its time, but features the great personality and playing of Jimi Hendrix. And so there you have it. Jimi Hendrix Experience, Axis Bold as Love. Today's Guitar Hero Daily Record. Like, comment, subscribe. Follow me on Instagram and Twitter. It's TommyBurton75. In the meantime, I'll see you all again tomorrow with another Daily Record.